Next up, I'd like to talk about baiting. Baiting is intentionally holding your guard in such a way that you are inviting your opponent to swing at something that's predictable. So, what I mean by that is, for instance, holding my arm far out in front of my body and slightly low with my weapon down and horizontal. What is this really tempting my opponent to swing at? Probably anywhere from my shoulder through my arm. I'm really giving them the impression that that's open. The lower I go, the higher they're tempted to swing. I generally never want to try and bait anyone by holding my weapon really up high, because I'm exposing so much torso area, and even the trajectory of my block in this instance. If she goes for, let's say, a basic hack, I might push it down, but still not make the cut. I can get part way and not get a full block, whereas baiting low is much safer. Anything that she throws high, I have an opportunity to sweep out side to side or up and out. So for instance, I bait low, and a simple turning of my wrist and sweeping out of my guard will push her weapon away. The next step of baiting is being ready to respond to what is most obviously going to be open with the shot that you wanted them to throw. In this case, throwing a cross, I'd want to firmly swat that weapon out and just subtly dip in, throw a short cross to that hip perhaps. So it'd look in full motion like this. Next bait, I could hold my hand overly to the inside of my body, which is inviting them to swing at my torso, especially with any kind of slot shot or horizontal hack. So, the advantageous part here is knowing that however she swings, stepping away from the swing and putting my weapon across my body, I'm generating a wall along this half of my torso box that's pretty defended against any level of attack she might throw there. So drifting my weapon out towards my weapon side, I'm inviting a torso shot, she throws it, I'm ready to push across, and I have an easy shot straight down on her arm. This works whether there's single sword or sword and shield involved. So for instance, especially here, single blue force sword and board, it looks very, very safe for her to lunge in towards my torso. I step, I push, and I chop that arm off in full motion. If I really get my system down and I'm ready to respond to her, I can have my weapon slightly lower, ready to cut for a hip, or slightly higher, ready to reach up and drop on her shoulder. Next up, I want to talk about baiting with my guard tilted, overcompensating for covering this outside of my torso box. So if I put the wall of my guard covering this part of my torso, it's really tempting for my opponent to swing at, again, my weapon arm through hip. If I want them to swing there, I need to be ready to block sweeping up and out, turning my wrist out and swatting them away. It'll further help me if I'm ready to step with my back foot towards their inside, getting a shot on their open inside. All in all, it would look something like this.